So while you're adventuring in Palworld, it's very important that you have the ability to have a really solid base location that has good proximity to a lot of things like resources, pals, great location, good weather conditions, and many other factors. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the best 5 base locations that you should consider building on. Each of these locations have their own uniqueness that brings them some type of value, whether that's proximity to resources, pals, or many other things that we listed before. These are going to be the best locations in all of Palworld. With that said, if you do enjoy this style of content, consider leaving a like as well as subscribing for more Palworld content, and let's dive right on in. So on to our first base location. This one is located at 160 minus 395. And looking at this base location, it's pretty obvious why this one is really good. First off, you have access to a ton of ore. This is going to be one of the bigger bottlenecks in all of Palworld. So you're going to be able to just pretty much solve it by living here. You can easily just put some type of structures here or on top of this little rock formation and have your pals basically farm all this area. You wouldn't properly build down there in my opinion, but you could. And then up here, I would probably put a base up here and maybe build some stairs down. You can kind of do it how you like it, but essentially you have a really nice area that has a ton of ore access. On top of this, whenever raids come by, you'll notice that there's one bridge to cross, and then there's that front area. So basically you have a frontal defense where you can build your defenses pretty much covering this area, and then put everything on the front because nothing can attack you from the back since your back is like pretty much cliff. Also, as you can see down there, there's eggs, and a lot of eggs spawn down here, so you can get free pals. And then, of course, back here, there is a massive way for you to glide down. You can go to that little waypoint there. You can teleport or glide down to all these different locations and get access to a ton of different pals available in this area. On top of this, you also just are fairly centralized. You're not super central, but fairly centralized. You have access to some of the better pals that you can fight off against. A pretty diverse area with a lot of options, and most importantly, just the height advantage, the ore. You just really just have everything you need here. This could be one of 2 bases I would build here early on, especially since you can glide down and not really have to worry about flyers. So a really good base. Moving on to the next location, and we're at 3 minus 523, and this is one of the mining locations that I actively use. As you can probably tell, it's a pretty spacious area. I don't use this area, but you could in theory use your base here and put your mining camp here. And right here, there is so much ore. These guys are actively mining a lot of the ore, so there's some missing here. But you have really good access to a lot of ore. And ore, again, is a massive bottleneck that you should want to like kind of solve for. And then up here, there's a treasure chest that spawned here, making it a little bit more incentivized to actually move down here. And one more place I want to show off while you're here is there's a cave down here, which will give you access to a lot of, you know, different pals. This one's level 13. And across the way, I haven't marked, I'm not going to fly all the way over there. But right across the hill, right there, you can see it in the little corner there. I'll zoom in. There's another cave there. And most importantly on the map, you're fairly close to the settlement, which will have like a resource vendor there that you could in theory capture and bring to your base. So objectively, you have one of the best bases that you can possibly have because it has pretty much everything you would need to flourish. Of course, there's going to be some pretty decent pals. There's like Dire House here, Vexies, some other pals. There's like a lot of Syndicate who attack as well. And when it comes to Syndicate attacks, they just basically come up this hill right here. So you can just pretty much put all your defenses on the front of that path and you can defend pretty easy. So again, a really good base. Moving on to our third location, and this is located at minus 685 minus 129, and this is at the very far left side of the map, and it's a pretty far like flight to get there. You have to fly here. I don't think you can get a water pal here. You can go from this island to here. But one thing to note about this place is it has really high level strong pals like this guy, Drummond-Tide Ignis. But the great thing about this location is I actually got my pal killed, by the way. That's why I'm running. This has ore, it has these beautiful flowers that you need, and it has sulfur built right in outside. I would build a base like up there, ideally, because that would be the best location without like despawning these and having these pals, because I would actually like to make a breeding army of these pals. There's also another type of pal, the one that actually like knocked me off my mount. And then down here, as you can see, way more resources, more pals that spawn, more of the, well, got some of these elite guys down here. But again, a lot of good resources that you can easily take advantage of on a fairly safe island. It's not gonna be easy for them to like get to that base location up there if they try to raid you like the raiders. So you have a really solid base location with a really nice like proximity to where you need to be, because like over down here is really hot, but there's a lot of good stuff in the Obsidian Mountains that you may want to get pals and stuff for. So a really nice location. Moving on to our fourth base location, and this is going to be very similar to what we saw with the last location, and this one is located at 85 negative 736. And this is essentially the same concept, except for you have different pals here because it's a wildlife. You have the Azure robe, you have this deer Terra version of the deer we see in the starter zone, and there's like pink queen kings and like a few other pals that you don't see often here. And this is a great option for it. On top of that, you'll notice I picked up a few on the way here, but there's some pretty decent stuff here. Defense pendant, sapphires. Those are, so far, every single chest I picked up in this area are comparable to the early game caves loot or better. So another great base location that could in theory have you like basically tame certain kind of pals that you really enjoy, and it's going to be pretty defendable once again. Oh look, and we have Grizzbolt here. I did not know he spawned here. And you have access to Grizzbolt apparently. So if anyone's looking for Grizzbolt, you can find him here. Pretty cool. I may have to come tame this after the video. Now on to the last and final location of this video, and if you probably observed looking at the background, there's a lot of smoke fires going off in the area. And why is that? Well, that's because each of these smoke fires that you're seeing, or smoke signals I think they're called, are basically bases that enemies are capturing pals. Now the reason why I'm specifically, oh let me show the location, and this is located at negative 188, negative 134. And the reason for this specific location is pretty much where it's located. This isn't going to have tons of heavy resources. There's decent resources, like you can see there's stone, rock, sulfurs, and stuff like that. But you're going to have access to a lot of cool little pal where you're going to have these spawn in fairly frequently. Looking at the map, because it's hard to see, you have access to a lot of different bosses in this area. Nightwing is one I really want to farm, and obviously Anubis. This is like, I think the strongest I've seen on the entire map. And then even more so, the diversity of pals in this area. There are like the turtle ones here, there's the birds that like blow up, there's the mudfishes, over here there's the dire ones, over here you have access to the gum moss. You have access to a very diverse range of pals that you could essentially just tame a ton of them while having a pretty good proximity to the center of the map and a lot of cool strong bosses that could be something you want to breed up. So overall, while this place isn't necessarily the most resource heavy, there are a lot of great benefits in this area. Hell, that plateau could work if you have the fire resistance. But there's a lot of really good things in this area, and that's why I'm putting this on number 5 on the list. And there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 base locations in all of Palworld. I know 2 of them wasn't necessarily the most exciting because they're at the ends of the island, but considering how strong those pals are, the loot boxes in that area, and just proximity, it's a really nice place that I think is worth mentioning. Leave me down in the comments any places that I missed that you think are really good base locations, and maybe we'll do a part 2 in another future video. And I'll even credit you if you're a content creator or someone who wants credit. Let me know down in the comments as well if the place is really good. And yeah, don't forget to like as well as subscribe to the channel for more Palworld content. It helps me grow as a creator, and I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next Palworld video very soon. Saga out.